Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
Remember, John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him to 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. These guys make this look so easy.
Tyrrell having a day. The Englishman, 6th under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Answer for the time being, at least. Now this is Abraham Answer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the overnight lead. And that is wonderfully done. Abe Answer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
The opening night of the 2024 NBA Draft is shortly coming to a close, but still 8 more picks left here on night number 1. At 23rd overall, as you see behind us, the team that plays inside the Pfizer Forum, the Milwaukee Bucks. And what a year it was, K-Dubs, for this Milwaukee team. After a 30-13 start, they fire first-year head coach Adrian Griffin. They bring in Doc Rivers. Things get better, and then they don't in the opening round of the postseason. No Giannis Antetokounmpo for the playoff run. Damian Lillard injured for most of that opening round set against Indiana. They're eliminated after only 6 games. So here, Milwaukee picks with the 23rd overall selection. In what direction do you think the Bucks look?
So this is one of these spots. You take a look at the smart money team needs. And day one contributors jumps right off of the page because this is a title or bust ball club. Mm-hmm. Not just with having Giannis, one of the 5 best players in the league, but having brought Damian Lillard in, the fact that they sent Drew out and he won a title helps. But speaking of Drew, it's left this team missing perimeter defense. Well, we can go check box with Ryan Dunn out of Virginia here. Even the lowest person who's evaluated Ryan Dunn would tell you he is an unbelievable defensive basketball player. Can't shoot a lick. Maybe it elevates, though. I mean, getting away from Tony Bennett and anything that he likes to pretend is called offense wouldn't be a bad idea. So I'm not even trying to do the crystal ball thing, but just when a player jumps off the page this much, Ryan Dunn makes a lot of sense here, Ben.
15-1, the price for Ryan Dunn to be in this spot. Tied for the 4th shortest odds. We'll see if that is the selection Milwaukee makes. JY, Kev mentioned that smart money team need, and number 1 is a day 1 contributor. Would Ryan Dunn or any other prospect you would like to throw in the ring fit that mold that's still available?
Ryan Dunn makes a lot of sense, but I'm going to go to this one, backup point guard. And I'm going to get Kevin fired up. Isaiah Collier. This is the spot. This is the spot as a backup point guard, someone that is strong, that can create his own shots, I think can lead a second unit. I think this is the spot that works perfect for him. So if I'm Milwaukee, if you're not going with Dunn, this is the time that you take Isaiah Collier. The slide should not go any further than this, Ben. This is a spot where this guy can contribute and help a team that needs depth.
The pick is in. I did not hear who the name was from our production team. The pick is in. The Milwaukee Bucks with the 23rd overall selection have selected A.J. Johnson to be that 23rd overall selection. Kev, as you look at this prospect, what can Bucs fans expect out of A.J. Johnson? Would this be a slight surprise to be in this spot?
So A.J. Johnson is actually someone I saw today. Admittedly, I cannot – you read so many of them, I can't remember which mock tossed around as a potential first-round pick. And unless I missed it, I went up and down the odds on DraftKings, which we've mentioned a few times, for A.J. Johnson first-round odds, and they just weren't even there. So the market wasn't necessarily prepared. We've talked about our tracking. And A.J. Johnson is not somebody who was even available there at 23. Now, taking a player over from the Illawarra Hawks and playing in the Australian League, it's one of these interesting things. I think, again, whomever your highest person might be on A.J. Johnson would tell you project. So, again, I think for me, JY, what jumps off of the page is that this team went project over ready day one.
Oh, yeah, they went to the projects. I mean, nothing like getting a day one contributor who scored 2.8 points per game. So this is exactly what I did not think you would get out of Milwaukee. But he does have a really good handle and the ability to create his own shot. But I don't look at this 2.8 points a game. I know you got the 53.8 field goal shooting percentage, but only about 28% from three, so doesn't really shoot it well from three. I'm kind of mystified why they went this route, where they could have went Collier, who I thought was a more ready-made guy, or Ryan Dunn, who is a defender. But, listen, Doc seems to get the best out of all of his players, so why not just take A.J. Johnson?
Only 26 appearances, averaging under 8 minutes per game in the NBL. That's Australia's pro league for the Illawarra Hawks. He was originally born in California, played his senior year of high school basketball at Southern California Academy, a prep school out there in Southern California. Four-star recruit initially that had committed to Texas before opting to play in the NBL. We saw Ron Holland, who was the second overall recruit in the 2024 basketball recruiting class nationally, who also committed to Texas but went the route of G League Ignite. He was the fifth overall selection of this 2024 NBA draft. So, as we keep it rolling around, A.J. Johnson, the selection at 23rd overall by the Milwaukee Bucks, the same team slated to have the next two picks. At 24, in 25, the focus of the NBA the last 24 hours, the New York Knicks. But the 24th overall selection has been dealt. The Knicks have moved that pick to the Washington Wizards. Am I correct in saying so? I heard that from our production team. Just wanted to double check. So 24 overall, the New York Knicks have traded the pick to the Washington Wizards, who were on the clock with the 26th overall selection, or at least slotted to pick there. It is going to be their third pick of this opening round, and the pick is now in the nation's capital. A lot moving here in the 2024 NBA draft in the latter half of this opening night. The Wizards have made their third pick of this first night, and they select Keyshawn George out of Miami. Only one season in Coral Gables for Jim Larrañaga and this Hurricanes team. He is now a first-round selection for the Washington Wizards. So, JY, we go back to you. Keyshawn George, the prospect, what can he bring to the next level?
Well, he's someone that's got, a pretty good shot and a decent pull-up game, so he has the ability to create his own shot at about 6'7". He's really a guy that doesn't have a real explosiveness off the bounce, not overly athletic. And then the concern is, this is one of these guys that really overachieved his freshman year, kind of came out of nowhere here. So the question is can he duplicate his Miami team that he played for? Really underachieved greatly. I thought they were going to be a team that could have been an Elite Eight or Final Four team, and they were one of the worst teams in their league. So let's see if he can repeat itself here. But obviously, they needed everything, guards, forwards, head centers. So I guess you go ahead and you take a chance on a guy like Keyshawn George that could be a good player in regards to his offensive skill set.
Again, the New York Knicks were slotted, Kev, to draft 24th overall, followed by the 25th overall pick as well. And Keyshawn George had a 12-1 price to be picked at this spot. He goes 24th overall to Washington. The Wizards have made three picks in this opening round, the most we have seen of any NBA team on this opening night. Alex Sarr, second overall, due to a trade earlier today with the Portland Trailblazers that sent Denny Avdija over to the Rose City. In return, the Wizards got the 14th overall pick. They take Bub Carrington out of Pittsburgh. Their third and final pick of this opening round is Keyshawn George. What do you make of the moves Washington has made on the opening night of the NBA draft?
So, just quickly, by the way, the Knicks still have the next two picks now because they got 26 back from Washington. If you kind of remove what's on the board, right? This team just took a bunch of young players that they hope can project out quite a bit, right? Started with Alex Sarr, Bub's super young, Keyshawn George can be, a 2-3 type of guy who looks like he could be an elite shooter. There are very real concerns about the frame and the athletic ability and all that translating. But this is where, and I don't want to do this with a lot of picks, but at this one I must. You're the Wizards, you have nothing. You draft Isaiah Collier. It's a slam dunk pick. It makes it the best haul in anybody in this class. You take that upside on a guy who's supposed to be arguably the number one pick in this class before stepping foot at USC. And you can't tell me that what Collier put up at USC is somehow significantly worse than what Keyshawn George did at Miami. So I can only judge it on what was possible, and based on what was possible, this is a mistake.
Isaiah Collier, his draft position prop, 20.5. The over did have the juice at minus 165, but gives you an idea of the ballpark of where he was slated, or at least thought to be drafted. The New York Knicks have had themselves a heck of a 24-hour span, and they have two picks up next on SportsGrid's Draft Special.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau!
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
I remember John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him to 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. This guy's making this look so easy.
Well having a day. The Englishman, 6th under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Answer for the time being, at least. Now this is Abraham Answer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead, and that is wonderfully done. Abe Answer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
The New York Knicks are on the clock with both picks 25 and 26 back-to-back here at the end of the opening round of the 2024 NBA draft. The Knicks were also supposed to go back-to-back in 24 and 25, but they traded the 24th overall selection to the Washington Wizards, who moved up by 2 draft slots here in the first round, and also added number 51, a second-round pick tomorrow night, to go back to the New York Knicks. What a 24 hours, Kev, it has been inside the hallowed halls of Madison Square Garden. Of course, the blockbuster deal late last night, acquiring Mikal Bridges from the Brooklyn Nets. The Villanova Knicks live on as Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Donde DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart all won a national championship together in 2016 at Nova. And then the question was, okay, what do they do with the other players on the roster? Would they have enough money to re-sign OG Anunoby? In fact, they do. A 5-year, $212 million deal inked earlier this afternoon. With all that has happened in the past day for this Knicks organization, what do you think they do here at the end of the opening round?
So a quick update. They are reported from Adrian Wojnarowski in talks to move pick 26, but the idea is they will stay here and pick 25. Two of the names that they've been linked to most consistently, Kyle Filipowski out of Duke, Tyler Kolek out of Marquette. Coach, I'll go to you. Do you like either of those two names here?
I like both of them because it addresses the need, right? For a backup point guard, you could probably move Deuce. Maybe Deuce goes off the ball, or do you use Deuce in some kind of trade chip? They need front court flexibility. Isaiah Hartenstein, maximum he can get offered is a 4-year, $72 million deal. Someone's going to give him $20 million. If Nick Claxton's getting $25 million, Hartenstein's getting at least $20 million. So he's as good as gone. So those two make sense. But then there's Isaiah Collier. Could he be? I'm not trying to get Kevin fired up, folks. I swear. This is another spot where you could see Isaiah Collier stepping in and playing for a guy like Tibbs. So the Knicks have needs because they don't know what they're going to do in regards to they're probably going to lose Hartenstein. They may lose Precious Achiuwa. So they got to address the front court, their depth, but they also need a backup point guard.
There are 3 prospects listed from the price perspective that still have draft props remaining of all the numbers that our wonderful production team has tracked throughout the 2024 NBA draft process. One is Bronny James. The over-under is 54.5. We expect to see more movement around that number tomorrow, perhaps, for round number 2. And 2 other guys, Isaiah Collier, who we have talked about, the guard out of USC, 20.5 the number. The over had the juice, 23.5 for Kyle Filipowski. The over also juiced, but Flip was the favored prospect to go 24th overall and 25th overall entering this opening night. Of course, at the time, the New York Knicks held both of those selections. JY, back to you. Let's talk roster fit now with everything the New York Knicks have done in the last 24 hours. The Knicks, from the odds perspective, had the second best price to win the Eastern Conference title at plus 350, only behind Boston. In the gap between the two, just over $2 now. Which player, if any, late here in the opening round would help the Knicks maybe accomplish that goal of winning an Eastern Conference title?
Well, I think they need, to me, I think you can get away with maybe having Deuce as your backup guard. I think you need some kind of front court depth at the 4/5 position. Someone that can play a 4 or a 5, that could step out, that can pass the ball a little bit, and could have decent range. This is where Flip makes sense. This is a guy that can plug into their system, will be able to play with those guys, be in that second unit as the big. I think he will be able to shoot the ball from deep. He could step away from the basket, which now allows driving lanes for Brunson, for Randall, so on and so forth. So to me, this is where I think a good spot for Kyle Filipowski to go.
The Blue Devils have the second most first-round selections in the history of the NBA draft, only behind Kentucky, who added 2 more tonight, make that 60. Now for the Cats, Jared McCain selected 16th overall by Philly, make that 57 for Duke, maybe 58 expected with Kyle Filipowski. If you are the New York Knicks, Kev, is that your move? Do you think Flip is the guy to make his way to MSG?
If you made me guess, I actually would guess Kolek. I think that a backup point guard does make sense. I think Tibbs, there's been connections there. I think Tibbs getting a guy with who's a senior probably is more up his in his wheelhouse than drafting Isaiah Collier. Again, pretty much right anyone that comes on the clock now, I would take Collier if I was in charge. Just to give an additional update here, and this is a little bit rare to see from Woj, but Woj spinning around a little bit. Now saying the Knicks will pick at 25 and 26. Some other folks have online been discussing kind of the Knicks trading back being an ability to save some money. the lower the draft slot, the less money you owe. Obviously, they've locked themselves into a lot of money over the last 48 hours or so with the Knicks. So that's also something to keep eyes on here. If they're about to be able to go back to back, I think that's one of the things. This team becoming so deep, right? If they can grab guys that are ready to play now, would be a huge benefit.
You would think with Tom Thibodeau basketball, you want as many available bodies as you could potentially have. Since 1989, that's when the NBA draft condensed itself to only 2 rounds. Kentucky and Duke enter the 2024 NBA draft with the same amount of first-round picks. Pacome, Dadier is the selection that we just heard. The pick officially in. Pacome Dadier out of France goes 25th overall to the New York Knicks. A player that was thought of, Kev, another French player that could be in first-round consideration. We heard some groans from our studio set. What do you make of this selection for New York?
Yeah, awful pick, awful selection. He is 6'8" and young. Quite frankly, though, I could, you can go to some local high schools if you want, and just pick anybody you want. Averaged a whopping 6-2-0, I believe, or 6-2-1. Let me not cheat him out on any numbers. So maybe a draft and stash here, because Tibbs doesn't want anybody to encroach on the minutes that he already looks to play for the guys he has. Just a nothing pick here for the New York Knicks. F. Easy F. Worst pick of the night.
The 4th French player drafted in the opening round of this 2024 NBA draft with Nikola Topic from Serbia. Make that 5 international players here in the opening round of the 2024 NBA draft. JY, we'll get your thoughts on the other side of the break. But seeming from the reaction that we can tell here, not overly pleased with what the Knicks did at 25th overall. But hey, good news. The New York Knicks also on the clock at 26 overall. More to come next.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau.
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
I remember John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him to 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. These guys make this look so easy.
Tyrrell Hatton having a day. The Englishman, 6th under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Answer for the time being, at least. Now this is Abraham Answer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead, and that is wonderfully done. Abe Answer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. With how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
The The New York Knicks on the clock once again with the number 26 overall pick, but they just drafted 25th overall, and out of France, they take Pacome Dadier. Now, there are some finances to be involved here maybe in this selection. He is the fourth French player drafted in the opening round of the 2024 NBA draft, the fifth international player when you add Nikola Topic as well. JY, we didn't get to you right before the break as we were coming up on that commercial. It's been an optimistic 24 hours for the New York Knicks. Does it make you feel any better about the Dadier selection?
No. What in the Frederick Weiss and Frank Ntilikina are we doing right now? I mean, this is a pick. Just trade the pick. Trade it. You don't want this guy. I mean, this guy scored, 6 points per game in the French league. He's got a good pull-up, Jay. What the damn do? You don't want this guy here. You want to save money, Leon Rose. So why even make the pick? You know what? I'm going to the Kevin Walsh school of thought. You just take Bronny here. Why don't you just take Bronny? Take Bronny, get LeBron, call it a day. So now the Knicks are back with 26. Are we turning around and we're going to take Filipowski? We're going to take some other French guy, some guy we never heard of, because we don't want to spend any money because our rotation set and Tibbs is going to play the starters 50 minutes a night. I don't know. Don't like the pick. My 24 hours of optimism is now done.
So Woj just tweeted, they're trading the 26th pick to the Thunder. So I think it is super fair to read that the Knicks feel as if they just couldn't draft players.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the financial ability to make that work. What I would then genuinely ask is, if you drafted Bronny, right, isn't it plausible that the Lakers then send you future stuff down the road for him? Because this situation here is, okay, who is a player, right, that has some upside, but we don't have to pay, right? Well, Bronny's upside is not just on the court stuff, but there is a slim, but it's still a slim chance, but it's still a chance that LeBron shows up. So I don't know. It's a bizarre one, I think, for me, Ben, to see this team be put in this kind of spot.
This is the first acquisition or move the New York Knicks have made in the last 24 hours that has not move the market. Plus 350 the price on the New York Knicks to win the Eastern Conference at plus 350. Just over $2 behind the Boston Celtics. But as Kev said, the breaking news, the New York Knicks traded the 26th overall pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder. OKC will make their second selection of the 2024 NBA Draft's opening round, and the pick is in for Oklahoma City. Weber State, stand up. It's not just Damian Lillard anymore. Dylan Jones, the selection at 26th overall in the 2024 NBA Draft made by the Oklahoma City Thunder. A guy that nearly averaged a 21-point double-double last year at Weber State, 20.8 points per game, nearly 10 boards at 9.8 rebounds on average for Weber State. From the odds perspective, Kev, were there any numbers hung on Dylan Jones out of Weber State?
I will pull up here to see if we have any of those numbers. I will say, man, what a fascinating career he had, though, at Weber State, right? By the time he got to the end of it, he's averaging 20 and 10. He's 6'5".
Yeah.
It's hard for Josh Hart not to come to mind when you just talk about positional rebounding, but he was able to stay at Weber State. He's also got passing chops.
Yeah.
I don't want to make the laziest comparison possible, but again, it's hard for Josh Hart not to come to mind. And I think Josh, the better on-ball defender, and ultimately his frame is certainly, kind of filled out a lot more at this point in time. But if that's the vision for Oklahoma City, a team that a lot of people felt got killed on the glass.
Yep.
Well, now you have a super outlier plus rebounder for his position. It's very enticing. I like the pick.
It is really interesting as well, especially in today's day and age of college basketball. Dylan Jones played all of his college career at Weber State, 119 total games. This past season in 2023-24 was the Big Sky MVP, a 3-time first-team All-Selection within the Big Sky. And we'll talk about what OKC has added on the opening night of this 2024 NBA Draft with our coach James Young on the other side of the break. And we keep rolling on into a new hour. We're with you the entirety of this first round of the NBA Draft live on SportsGrid's NBA Draft Special. Myself, Ben Stevens, Kevin Walsh, and the coach JY. Keep it rolling. Up next on SportsGrid.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau.
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
I remember John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him at 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. These guys making this look so easy.
So having a day. The Englishman 6 under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Answer for the time being at least. Now this is Abraham Answer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead. And that is wonderfully done. Abe Answer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
Four more picks left in the opening round of the 2024 NBA Draft. We welcome you back to our SportsGrid special. The most recent pick in the opening round at number 26 overall, the Oklahoma City Thunder engage in a trade with the New York Knicks. Sam Presti has a lot of draft capital, and he expends it, trading 5 second-round picks over the next 3 years to the New York Knicks. In return, at 26th overall, they draft Dylan Jones. At 27th overall, the Minnesota Timberwolves on the clock. And with the 27th overall pick out of Illinois, and one of the 5 best scorers in college basketball a season ago, Terrence Shannon Jr. He goes to Minnesota at 27th overall. For most of the pre-draft process and throughout the 2023-24 college basketball season, Terrence Shannon Jr. was a complicated prospect. He was suspended for 6 games, stemming from an arrest due to a rape charge in Lawrence, Kansas. But less than 2 weeks ago, Terrence Shannon Jr. was acquitted of both rape and sexual assault, both charges dropped in Douglas County in the state of Kansas. Terrence Shannon Jr. now gets to hear his name called in the 2024 NBA Draft and the opening round. He goes 27th overall to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kev, when you look at the prospect that is TSJ, not many better last year in college hoops. A historic run for the Illini in the NCAA tournament, leading Illinois to its first Sweet 16 and Elite 8 appearance since 2005. The Timberwolves, who acquired Rob Dillingham from the San Antonio Spurs earlier in the top 10, now draft Terrence Shannon Jr. What did the Timberwolves just add?
Well, I mean, they had a dynamic scorer, right, who they would hope could contribute on day number one. The thing is, this is not Minnesota's first acquisition in this draft. They also selected Rob Dillingham. So now I'm kind of just trying to piece together this depth chart here a little bit. And all of a sudden now I kind of shell up on a player I'm super high on in Rob Dillingham because Shannon's size and just age and reps might get him on the court earlier. And now I'm a little bit worried about Rob's role. And then that starts to question, did Minnesota really need to make that move that they did, giving up those assets to get Rob Dillingham? As far as evaluating those two players as prospects, I couldn't be higher on Rob Dillingham, age and all that.
Yeah.
I'm trying not, I can't help myself, and JY will do a better job of focus on these two picks together, which feels odd. Individually, I get the excitement around both.
Terrence Shannon Jr. was the third leading scorer nationally in men's college basketball a season ago, averaging 23 points per game. If it was not for the 7-4 Zach Edey, TSJ would have ran away with the Big Ten Player of the Year award. Still a first-team selection in the Big Ten this past season. So, JY, when you look at the prospect that is TSJ, what is the best part of his game that will translate immediately to the NBA?
His defense on and off the ball is outstanding, and the ability to push the ball in pace and space is really important. But if you start to dig in deeper on synergy and kind of look how he scores, he was in the 87th percentile in scoring in transition nationally. He was an 80th percentile spot up, 95th percentile in pick and roll handle, meaning he kept the ball. So you could run him in your second unit with Rob Dillingham, two guys that can create your own shot, with a Naz Reid as your stretch 4, stretch 5, you now, with Slow-Mo Anderson, this is have now become a extremely deep team, and Kevin, an extremely explosive second unit by bringing in Shannon Jr. with Rob.
Which I understand. I will say, though, with Shannon Jr., like I understand he had a great year at Illinois, right? But this is also sometimes why guys like this kind of struggle to find NBA success or find a great spot relative in the draft because he was in college for 5 years.
Yes.
Like, oh, congrats, you broke out in year 5 of playing college basketball. He's going to be 24 by the time the next season starts. So, again, this is one of those things. It's about what you want to be as a basketball team, and did you want to take an upside swing? I think there's an argument that maybe Kyle Filipowski would have made more sense here, who can stretch the floor, and that works better playing next to a Rudy Gobert. Maybe keep some continuity when we talk about Rudy Gobert, Rudy Gobert, Kyle Filipowski. Not same players, but I think you get what I'm kind of pointing at there. So I don't love the pick. I get why people like the player, but also it's scoring. He's averaging 2.3 assists. Like, this wasn't a guy who was filling up the box score in a number of areas there. So I can't sit here and tell you I love what Minnesota just did.
The prospect can be different than the pick. You can think highly of a player's skill set, but not love where they land. The Minnesota Timberwolves, second best price to win the NBA's Western Conference this upcoming season at plus 450 after reaching the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 2 decades this past year. 28th overall, the Phoenix Suns on the clock after the trade earlier tonight with the Denver Nuggets. The Suns, of course, moved back to 28 overall. They traded the 22nd overall pick to the Nuggets, and in return, they get this 28th pick and the 56th pick. And off the board, the pick is now in for Phoenix. Out of Virginia, it is the defensive guard in Ryan Dunn. JY, quickly over to you. The Suns with the 28th overall pick, the third to last in this opening round of the 2024 NBA draft, select Ryan Dunn out of UVA. Do you like the pick that Phoenix just made?
I love the pick because they need depth and they need defenders, and I think that is something that he will fit in nicely. Listen, you come from Tony Bennett's system, you're going to be able to defend and defend at a high level. Yes, it is the pack line defense. Yes, they drop in, but they still, on the pack line defense, they still put on immense ball pressure. And that's what this kid can do. He can pressure the ball. He's going to help that second unit and help that team that really does struggle defensively, right, at the perimeter spot. So they get arguably one of, I would say, the 3 or 4, maybe some people think the best defensive player in the draft This is a really good team for a team that really needs to address their perimeter defense.
Kev, Ryan Dunn was 11-1, third shortest price to be the 28th overall pick, but that, of course, was tracked when the odds entering tonight saw the Denver Nuggets selecting in this spot. He was 6-1 to go 29th overall. He ends up in Phoenix. Ryan Dunn was a prospect that you were high on, but there's a player that you're even higher on that just went off the board at 29th overall. The slide has stopped for USC's Isaiah Collier. The pick is in at 29th overall. The Utah Jazz have selected Isaiah Collier out of Southern Cal. A peculiar prospect just in his overall draft evaluation. You have made note of it a few times on this night of the NBA draft. Entering last year at USC, a part of the talented freshman trio that had Bronny James, Boogie Elias, and Collier, he was thought of as a surefire lottery pick. Yeah. Maybe top 10, maybe top 5, maybe in consideration in this draft class to be the number 1 overall selection. So what is Utah getting?
Utah is getting the steal of this draft. They might have selected a better player than who they selected at 10th in Cody Williams. And I love Cody Williams and thought that was an excellent decision by Utah at 10. Danny Ainge is incredible, and I think should be given all the credit in the world. Isaiah Collier could legitimately be their starting guard for the next decade. He had a million chances to tap out of that disaster situation in USC with injury after injury and continue to come back. They actually had a winning record with him on the court. They were 1-5 when he missed games. As far as his ability as a passer, he led EYBL in assists per game. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. Trust me, it matters. Because that's how Isaiah Collier ended up the clear-cut number 1 high school recruit in the country. And in this draft, falling to 29, is an absolute shame. I don't know if some random injury history is going to come out that we were unaware of. If there are character concerns, I'll tell you this right now, I'm not concerned about him, and Ainge isn't either. Utah, with the steal of the draft, an unreal haul in Isaiah Collier and Cody Williams, and for the first time in my life, I'm considering, am I a Utah Jazz fan? I have to consider it.
Maybe
I have to consider it.
Are. Isaiah Collier's draft prop was 20.5. The over did have the juice, but not expected to be around with the second-to-last selection of the opening round of the 2024 NBA draft. The Utah Jazz, both of their draft picks tonight, 10th overall, Cody Williams out of Colorado, 29th overall, Isaiah Collier out of USC. Plenty more coming on SportsGrid's NBA Draft Special up next.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau.
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
I remember John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him at 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. This guy's making this look so easy.
So having a day. The Englishman 6 under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Answer for the time being at least. Now this is Abraham Answer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead, and that is wonderfully done. Abe Answer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
Only one more pick remains in the opening round of the 2024 NBA Draft, and it goes to the team that won an NBA championship just over a week ago. A week ago on Monday night inside TD Garden, the Boston Celtics hung championship banner number 18. And with the final pick of the 2024 NBA Draft, the Celtics have made their selection. The final first-round pick of this NBA Draft is a man out of Creighton by way of South Dakota State, Baylor Shireman. He makes his way to Boston. In 2 years, JY at CU led the Blue Jays to success in the NCAA tournament, considered a prospect that ticks many boxes as he looks to take the next step into the National Basketball Association. Do you like what the Celtics did with the 30th overall pick?
Wing depth, bench scoring. Check. So a team that can shoot the ball like no one's business when they got one of the best pure shooters in the draft. Good luck in that second unit when you got Peyton Pritchard, then you got this guy Shireman, and you got Sam Hauser as the three guys. All of them can shoot it lights out. Al Horford can shoot it from three. It just speaks to how smart Brad Stevens is to looking at his roster and saying, we could do this, especially shoot the ball. How can we do it better? And they definitely did that by getting Baylor Shireman, who could knock down shots, has a decent handle, not a great athlete, but the ability to just stand, shoot, or bring them off screens, clean footwork coming off of it. This is a really good pick for Boston at the end of the first round.
It's hard not to like it. I think Shireman's ability to check a number of boxes, right, not necessarily break through, right? I'm not telling you he's a great defender. I'm not telling you he's a great passer, but he's passable in either scenario. Pretty good rebounder. And as Coach said, this is a guy whose shooting ability you trust. And on the Boston Celtics, who set records for three-point percentages, attempts, makes, that's just an automatic fit. Yeah. And I think drafting, this is kind of where it's different. We just talked about Terrence Shannon, right? And I also might prefer to Shireman the prospect to Shannon Jr., but the Baylor played Baylor Shireman playing 5 years, but it just fits a little bit better for me in Boston than maybe Shannon Jr. does in Minnesota. However, I kind of think Flip would have been the pick here. Because the one smart money team need Coach didn't allude to, and he's right, they just checked 2 out of 3 boxes, is a floor spacing 5. I think what is such a separator for Boston is at any moment there you look at the lineup and you go, oh, wow, everyone can shoot. Right, unless, the Luke Cornett backup minutes there, right? But KP and Al Horford are such game changers. Yeah. And we know Flip can stretch the floor. And I just think you put him in Boston's system. So I like Baylor Shireman. I'm not telling you that this is a slam dunk home run pick, though.
Al Horford, after many years, wins his first NBA championship, but a veteran. What his offseason holds, that remains to be seen. We got word today that Kristaps Porzingis is more than likely set to miss at least a good chunk of the opening part of Boston's title defense starting in 2024-25. The Celtics are a very short favorite to win next year's NBA championship, about $4 in front of every other team in the association. A plus 135 price now for the C's to win their second consecutive Eastern Conference championship after making NBA history just about 9 days ago with championship number 18, the most ever in the association. Baylor Shireman becomes Creighton's 4th first-round pick in the draft lottery era. That dates back to 1985, the first for the Blue Jays since Justin Patton back in 2017. So the opening round the 2024 NBA Draft has now come to a close. 30 picks tonight, and now a 2-night event for the first time ever. 28 picks slotted for tomorrow night in night number 2. We will have plenty of reactions coming your way up next. A couple of early draft grades, some winners and losers that we will keep an eye on. But, of course, Kev, the storylines entering night number 2, a couple of the sliders. Tyler Kolek out of Marquette expected by many to be a first-round pick. You just mentioned Kyle Filipowski out of Duke, his draft position prop, 23.5. He was expected to be a first-rounder as well. And, of course, a ton of attention, even more so than tonight, will be paid on Bronny James. Will he be drafted in the 2024 NBA draft, and by which team and when? Those are the questions entering tomorrow night.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff mentioned there. I'll throw Johnny Furphy's name in the mix, a guy who had minus money to be a top 20 pick slides here. You and I were kind of joking about a head-to-head on Kolek Furphy, where I thought Johnny Furphy might make some sense in that market. We'll apparently have to wait for day 2 to get some grading there with neither one of those guys coming off of the board just yet. I think it's going to be really interesting because, though, the most famous, I think is the best word to use, the most famous player, right, is still on the board. For sure. But he was supposed to still be on the board in Bronny. But when does his name come up, right? Here tonight, we didn't throw Bronny at you a million times. Lakers were on the clock. Suns were on the clock. That was it, right? That's appropriate. I think there are a few spots when we're doing tomorrow's coverage where Bronny is a little bit more live, but how often do we hear Bronny's name tomorrow, or do we just sit on our hands and wait for 55?
54.5, the draft position prop for Bronny James. You see there, the Lakers, the favored team to select him at minus 165. LA has one pick as of this moment in the second round. It's number 55 overall. The Phoenix Suns, who have the second shortest number to draft Bronny James, have a pick at number 56 overall as well. Again, 54.5, the draft position prop, hefty juice on the over at minus 158. How will those numbers change in the next 24 hours or so? That remains to be seen. JY, if you peered into your crystal ball, where and when does Bronny James go tomorrow night?
I think one of those two teams are going to trade up. I think Phoenix, you see them try and jump 55 or 56 to jump the Lakers and try and make a move. I'm still, as crazy as it sounds, this is not my New York propaganda, the Knicks making that trade with Washington having 26 and 51. That's intriguing. Do the Knicks take a swing at this? So I think there's a market there, but it'll be interesting because the most polarizing name in the draft is going to be one we're going to talk about a lot tomorrow.
Still some great prospects out there. Johnny Furphy, Tyler Kolek, Kyle Filipowski, and many others that will make their impact on the association in night number 2. We'll see what lays in store for the second round, but of course, a lot of focus is going to be on Bronny James. Some draft winners and losers from this opening night up next.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau!
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
I remember John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him at 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. This guy's making this look so easy.
So having a day. The Englishman 6 under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Ancer for the time being at least. Now this is Abraham Ancer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead, and that is wonderfully done. Abe Ancer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
We told you at the very start of the program, way back at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, before even night number 1 of the 2024 NBA Draft was fully underway, we would be with you here on SportsGrid's Draft Special for the entirety of the opening round. Well, night number 1, round number 1, has come to a close after 30 selections, so we are coming to a close as well. But before we go, here in the 2024 NBA Draft Special, some closing thoughts. And the one thing that sticks with us and where our minds go after the opening round of the 2024 NBA Draft. We start with the coach. JY, from your coaching perspective, which teams on this opening night of the NBA Draft do you think had the most positive outcomes?
I'm looking at teams that got guys as a coach that could step in and play right away. Zach Edey going to Memphis is something I had no idea that it was coming. But it makes a lot of sense after losing Steven Adams last year. You plug him into that center position next to Triple J. You get Ja back healthy, Desmond Bain. Maybe this team makes a run. Dalton Knecht falling to the Lakers was the best thing that ever happened to that team. They need shooters. They need guys that can step in and knock down shots so that if LeBron comes back, somebody that could space the floor. And I think that is something that I thought is really, really good for them. Lastly, how about Portland? There's all this talk about what they wanted to do. Maybe, having with Edey, if he, if he were to come up, because of Klingon. Well, how about Klingon dropping down to them, which was the perfect scenario for them, which leads me last week to Charlotte. And what the heck were you doing at the 6th pick? I love Salam. I love that pick, but he could have moved back and got something for him.
So, I wanted to talk Rookie of the Year odds. Kind of, hey, wonder when these will get posted.
Yeah.
They're up.
Ooh.
They're up.
Yes, they are.
And before I saw these, made my own list, an honest list of what I would say the top 6 is. No odds sorted to it. In order. Alex Sarr, Stephon Castle, Zachary Richardson, Zach Edey, Dalton Knecht, Isaiah Collier. I'm talking about opportunity and everything. Maybe I'm short on Matas Buzelis, but I felt solid about that. Using the FanDuel market, Sarr's your favorite. Little drop Richardson, Buzelis, Solon, Steph Castle. Solon's way too high. But on DraftKings, they have the Collier number. FanDuel does not. When we are going to close up shop here very shortly, Ben, may leave with 2 bets. Isaiah Collier is 75-1. That's a disgrace. That's a joke. He might be their starting point guard if Colin Sexton leaves. But I'm dead serious. Zach Edey 20-1. Mm-hmm. If he starts for Memphis, 18 minutes a night, that might be all he needs in this class. Sarr's the rightful favorite. Zach Edey 20-1 is a great number. I think it's a great number.
Already a big plus money price that Zach Edey cashed on his very first night as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies. It was a 5-1 number, plus 500 for Edey to be a top 10 selection. To those Rookie of the Year odds, Alex Sarr was the 2nd overall pick by the Washington Wizards, but has the best price. And at the open of these odds is the NBA Rookie of the Year favorite entering 2024-25 on the FanDuel Sportsbook at 4-1. The guy who went 1st overall to the Atlanta Hawks, Zachary Richardson, just behind his fellow French native at a 6-1 number. A Frenchman goes 1st overall for the 2nd consecutive season for the first time in NBA draft history. We have back-to-back number 1 overall selections that were not U.S. college basketball players. 5 international players drafted in the opening round of this 2024 NBA draft, 4 of them hailing from France. We saw teams make multiple draft picks. The Washington Wizards had 3 in this opening round. The Minnesota Timberwolves ended up with 2 acquisitions, Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr. in the Utah Jazz. 10th overall, Cody Williams. 29th overall, Isaiah Collier. I think one thing that sticks out to me from the odds perspective, What will happen to Bronny James on night number 2? The over-under, 54.5. The over has the juice at minus 158. If you think the odds make sense, the Lakers draft at 55th overall in the second round. The Phoenix Suns just behind at number 56 overall as well. He is OK Dubs, Kevin Walsh. I am Ben Stevens. Our coach, James Young, JY, here with us all night long through the opening night of the 2024 NBA draft as well. Both will be back tomorrow night. Kev, JY, I hope you have a great time.
Hey, appreciate it, brother. Cannot wait. We will also have Scott Farrell, Coast to Coast, live and in studio as well. So our coverage of the NBA draft will pick up right where it leaves off here.
JY, I'll also see you tomorrow morning on the early line, live in studio alongside Donnie Rightside. For everybody a part of this NBA draft special on SportsGrid, thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Nashville, help me welcome to the stage the captain of Crushers GC and the 2024 U.S. Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau!
Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
Won the Saudi Open on the Asian Tour in April, and he won the International Series event in Macau in March, beating David Puig in a playoff. Here's a man with 9 career wins, 3 of them on the DP World Tour. 33 years of age from Sacramento, and he is making the most of his chance.
And remember, John Catlin playing as a reserve for Charles Howell III, who's injured. If he were to go on to win this, he gets those points. That would move him right at the top 24 number. Move him at 20th currently.
Yeah, another beautiful shot. These guys make this look so easy.
Tyrrell Hatton having a day. The Englishman 6 under par. He shares the lead with Abraham Answer for the time being at least. Now this is Abraham Answer to stay at 7 under and in all likelihood have the open night lead, and that is wonderfully done. Abe Answer with a 64.
This is what Live Golf's about, man. I had a vision of this 2-3 years ago, seeing what the potential could be, and this is just the start. I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
Hey, welcome to SportsGrid. It's been an incredible week. Here's some of what you may have missed.
As far as the Major League Baseball board goes, it is Dinger Tuesday. Soto, Ohtani, Tatis, star power. Hey, by the way, put your eyes on, this is from Donnie Rightside. I can co-sign it if it matters to you. The Angels tonight, Zach Neto, Rafingo, whatever his buddy name is. Come on now, work with me here, people. All right? Angels, yeah, that's what I said now. Come on. They told me in the back I couldn't even give it to you. Look, the Angels are in the mix tonight. Now, before we get out of here, Paul Skeens, 3 up, 3 down, strikes out 2. 201, no way. No way.
I thought it was an interesting thought experiment in a way, because this is the first great coach that was offered an NBA job in the new era, in the era of NIL and the era of House versus the NCAA, where it's likely that teams, programs, athletic departments, however you want to classify it, will be able to share revenue with their athletes. And the UConn is a very interesting subject in that because they have a football program that is not a member of a major conference and therefore not generating a ton of revenue. And so it's interesting how they handle that 22 million figure that exists for the elite programs. And it's certainly out there for anybody else that wants to do it. But what will UConn do relative to its basketball program, its women's basketball program, and its football program? I think that's a really interesting debate for them. But he looked at all that and decided that UConn was still the place. And he'll make less money at UConn, even if he gets the massive raise that's been suggested. He'll make significantly less money than he would have as the Lakers coach. So the fact that he decided to stay, interesting in that respect. And then, of course, there were the dramatic, let's call it dramatic reactions to the initial word that he might leave college basketball, and how many people talked about how horrific it would be for the college game. I didn't agree with that. I think that he's fantastic, but I think that we've seen fantastic coaches replaced before, and the game continues on. But now that he stayed, I'm not seeing anybody start to shake the pom-poms and say, well, college basketball quite obviously is in a massive power position because it stared down the NBA and kept its top coach.
Paul Skeens' early Major League Baseball career, he's been phenomenal, and that included yesterday. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, and ERA now below 2.5 at 2.43 exactly. Talk to us here about Paul Skeens and the expectations, again, for the rest of the summer. 103 pitches, Craig, they let him go. Are we going to see more of this?
Yeah, I come on the show every week. Skeens pitches. It seems like I'm on. I mean, his time to pitch seems to be either Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because that's when I'm on the show with you guys every week. It's just lining up perfectly for me here. I mean, he's been fantastic. I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, right now you look at his rookie of the year odds, and all of a sudden you really have to start taking them more seriously. As long as he pitches deep into the season, I think he's got a great shot. As we've talked about, Imanaga, who is still barely the favorite to win the rookie of the year, is going to pitch for the Cubs all the way through until the last day of the season. In fact, if it is close, I could absolutely see Craig Counsell going, you know what, Imanaga, take the mound for the final game and try to win that award. So that's what Skeens has up against him. But as far as talent-wise is concerned, the next 5 years, Imanaga or Skeens, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, Skeens is going to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. And he's just going over all of these props that he has every single day. Fading him is the wrong decision at this point. I know that they're set very high, but he has been as advertised in his first month plus.
Let's talk baseball. Let's talk pros. Let's talk American League MVP. Market movement has provided us our first minus money MVP favorite all year. National League, we've not seen minus money just yet. But Aaron Judge is now minus 110 in the AL MVP market. And Aaron Judge has been on a heater unlike any we've really seen in some time. That is a 30-day window of a 400 batting average for the best power hitter in the game. The best power hitter in the game is hitting for average, more than average. Think about the nature of Major League Baseball. Think about the conversations you hear from people who don't love the state of the league and that nobody can hit for average. And Aaron Judge, who that was more than true of to open things up, heading into May, was batting sub 200 and is now hitting 400 over a month. The 17 home runs are not too shabby. Now, Aaron Judge, I don't think will compete for a triple crown. I think the average is too far back from that slow start. But he would be the live favorite for your home run lead and RBI lead, quite frankly. But is he the bet to make in the AL MVP race? Let's take a look at the odds. Judge at minus 110. The favorite, it's been moving. For a while, it was Juan Soto as the favorite in this race. Now, the guys that have been in this for pretty much all season long, Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson. Kyle Tucker dropping due to injury. Jose Ramirez and the Guardians having this great season are in the fold. If you want to round out your top 10, Corey Seager, Adley Rutschman, Rafael Devers, Salvador Perez.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with Jackpocket, Jackpocket is a company that basically is a lottery ticket courier, essentially. You can go online, buy your ticket in a state that's approved, and they will have someone go to a store, physically buy that ticket for you. It's a really interesting concept. DraftKings is paying $750 million for this company. They've paid it. It's done. They've paid $324 million in shares to get this. It was a cash and share split. And remember, DraftKings is really bullish on this, Craig. They think that they can acquire customers through cost selling at a significantly lower rate than what customers are going for if you have to acquire them on the open market right now. Early days there, that this transaction only closed on May 23rd. So it is early days, but management is saying the integration is encouraging. Stifel expects that DraftKings is going to expand this lottery courier product quickly in states that it isn't in already, just to give them even bigger upper hand when it comes to DraftKings in that database, Craig.
It's that easy, isn't it? You got them keyed to everything tonight?
I took the Yankees, but listen, Judge and Soto are back together. I thought they might hit tonight. So that was our reason there. I thought they might win the game. I didn't take the over until after the first batter of the game. And then it was Volpe was up. And he hit a ball that I swear that I thought was a pop-up. I know it was a pop. Damn thing went off the wall. I'm like, oh, Bulls carrying KC tonight. Let's take the over here. All right, so he got a triple out of that. Then Wells last inning did almost the same exact thing. I'm like, okay, that's a sac fly. They'll get the run in. It was Senfield's going back. Oh, my God, it's a home run. I'm like, wow, Bulls carrying KC tonight. So, yes, I feel good about they got to get the over. They only got 6 runs so far. So they still got to get there. But, yeah, that was a nice in-game play. Off of one bat. Like I said, one bat at the first pitch of the game. Ball traveled. Let's go with the over.
What does it mean that Dan Hurley is staying in stores?
It's tremendous, and it's a major storyline now, obviously, going into next season, that UConn, again, a team that lost several key ingredients, again, from a team that was dominant in its run to a national championship, will be going for a three-peat in 24-25. Ben, I understand fully what's going on off the field, off the court in college athletics, and I know how volatile it is. But you look right now here on June 12th about what lies ahead next season.
All right, good stuff there, but we're just getting started. We'll be back right after this.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
You know, this guy is the mad scientist. I mean, he's all about green density. So in my mind, I feel like he's going to have the green speeds dialed in, and the angles he needs to land them and all that sort of stuff. I feel like he's going to be a good spot and playing the course well. And he's going to be hitting less club into a lot of these par threes too. So I just, we're talking about using a live guy. I love Bryson this week. I'm riding with Bryson.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes, obviously, after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire, Pat Hoberg.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Despite me being a Yankee fan, I think Joe would deserve the label as Aaron Judge's biggest fan, not through any bias, but just through the amount of money that he's made anybody who's been betting on him.
I just had him for that home run, and I'm going to go back to it today. That home run coming in at plus 230. Max Fried here, while he has been strong, this is Aaron Judge.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
And welcome into Sports Grid. It's been a heck of a week here at the network. In fact, here's some of what you might have missed this week.
It's Pharrell on the bench, coast to coast in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seed, the broken day, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live, like you read about at the beautiful MGM Grand at the Boxing Media Center in Sin City, the Mecca, the hub, beautiful downtown Las Vegas, baby, for the pay-per-view on Prime Saturday night at the Great Grand Garden Arena, right here inside the MGM, and we're ready for Tank and Frank, the Ghost, Martin, and of course, our boy the Monster, David Benavidez, fighting Vosdick. It's going to be incredible tomorrow night. They got everything going. The 100-fight anniversary, 30 years of great boxing in Sin City at the Grand Garden Arena, one of my favorite spots. I've been here coming to fights for over 30 years, and look who it is to start the show. Obviously, we're going to have Carver High with us in New York, but the one and only, the esteemed Jim Lampley styling on Coast to Coast today. And I got to tell you, it's a thrill to have you on. It's great to see you. I have friends that came to watch you do the segment here. My friends from San Diego who know you from San Diego. And it's just always an honor to run into you here in Vegas at the fights. And great to see you. Thanks for doing the show.
My privilege. Good to see you again.
So I saw your favorite fights of all time here at the Grand Garden Arena, and I've been here for a lot of them. Fred and I've known each other forever. Bruce Binkow. I have gone through a litany with HBO, Showtime, PBC, Premiere, all the fight publicists, you name it, I've seen it all. But I've not done the fights you've done. I've just been here promoting them. You've actually been here calling them and doing everything else. What's it like for you to come back for this great weekend and this anniversary and the special events that are going on this weekend in Vegas?
Listen, it's always exciting and great to be here. I go back to the day when the key bases for the sport in Las Vegas were the Las Vegas Hilton, Caesars Palace, the Mirage, etc. So the whole MGM Grand experience began somewhere in the midst or early middle of my boxing blow-by-blow career.
You guys got to be stoked to be putting on a show Saturday night. How cool is it for the 100th anniversary of the Grand Garden Arena to be part of this weekend? It's a historic weekend. And I just told you, I've been coming to fights here since the jump, since day one. I've been at every fight that ever happened in this building, and it's good to be back. What does it mean to you to be a part of it?
Man, it means a lot, man. It was so crazy. The sanctioning body, Mauricio and WBC, they surprised me and the family with this award, the Juneteenth belt. You know, and I think it's just a pleasure.
It's beautiful. Man. I was thinking about knocking you out and taking that belt back to my street. You know what I mean? I think it's really cool what you're doing with Tank, that you're actually working together to sell an event this big. Are you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I strictly did this for the fans. I had an option to do a pay-per-view by myself, but I said, you know what? The fans deserve it, and let's get two of the biggest punches on PBC. Let's put it in one card, and Tank, he agreed to this, and this is a treat for the fans. You know what I mean? And this is not only is a co-main event and the main event good, but the whole card is stacked and on fire. And I know I got tough competition, but I'm looking to steal the show this Saturday.
He means business. He can definitely fight. I have to tell you, you don't see guys in boxing anymore sharing the limelight. Guys with egos, prima donnas, money, promoters. Guys could be D's. I think it's cool that you guys got together, and it makes you look classy.
Yeah.
Two fighters that are as big as both of you are doing this, I think is a really powerful move for you in your career. Who have been your favorite fighters through the years? I was talking about Thomas Hearns and Hagler, and I remember doing fights with you even in L.A. when we did the Fury. I think it was the first Fury fight with Wilder. Who are your favorite fighters that were, accessible and that were nice to you and that were understood your end of the business, that you had to do your job too and sell the fight and talk about the fight?
I loved Ali. He was great. Gave me an opportunity, got to travel with him for many, many years after that. I loved Marvin Hagler.
Me too.
Marvin Hagler was just a really good, decent, genuine guy. Tommy Hearns was terrific too.
Awesome.
Very, very fond. I loved, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
We have a very special relationship. He's been great. There have been a lot of these fighters who I've really, had a tremendous affinity for. I like Roberto Duran.
Yeah, he's great.
He's always fun to be around. Diego Corrales, after that great fight, best fight I ever did was Castillo Corrales. That wasn't here. It was over at Mandalay Bay, and there was only 5,800 people there. But, what he said after that fight just touched me in a way. I asked him to describe that fight that he won, which was incredible. He said this fight was an honor.
Is it like how the business changed and evolved, and on the negative end of it, like I couldn't believe it when they said that you guys weren't going to have boxing anymore. What was that like for you running it and having that happen?
It was literally a shock. It was a disappointment. It's both surprising and not surprising. Because, you're in the media business, has always been an astute observer of the media business. You'd have to be blind to not see all the changes going on. And it's not just streaming. Everybody knows it's moving to streaming. But different financial changes. And I saw it at Paramount, the changes. From that perspective, it wasn't a surprise. Like everybody in the media business knows they got to look over their shoulder because things are changing. But at the same time, it's still, when it actually happens, it's still shocking. And it's still something all of us went through a period of mourning. There are people here, Sheila, our head of marketing.
Right.
She started, she was there for the entire 37 years of Showtime Boxing, from the Tyson days all the way through Mayweather, Canelo, and Tank. So I was there. I had a great 12-year run. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But there's a lot of 25, 30-year employees where it's literally, it's like losing a loved one.
It is.
That's the relationship.
Now that's some good stuff, and we're just getting started. We'll be right back after this.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11-12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to SportsGrid. It's been an unbelievable week here at the network. Here is some of the fantastic content you may have missed this week.
It's Pharrell on the bench in the biggest way possible, hanging out. We are live in Sin City, the Mega, the Hub, beautiful downtown Las Vegas, baby, at the MGM Grand in the Boxing Media Center. In the middle of it all, it's a $110 outside. How about a little Thursday C2C along with my boy, Joey Prance, a.k.a. Go for the Two, a.k.a. Dad Girl, a.k.a. Joe College Football's insider, Lisi, my man back in New York. And listen to this. Your boy Joe Lisi is old school boxing. I mean, old school. When I came in here today, all the old timers saw me. They're like, Pharrell, good to see you, Pharrell, blah, blah, blah. And then I told Joe, I said, all the old guys know me. None of the young guys know me. Like the young kids that are fighting now have never heard of me, but I've been doing this for 35 years. And then, Joe, you told me you used to freak out and watch all the boxing, the Golden Gloves at the Garden, USA Network, Friday Night Fights.
This is it, brother. This is what it's all about. I mean, Sean O'Grady and the crew. I mean, talk about old school. Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Razor Ruddock, Mike Tyson. I mean, Evander Holyfield. I'll even throw in Skipper Kelp, the welterweight back in the day. So love the fight game. We have Tank Davis, one of the best up-and-coming fighters. Did knock out and take care of business with Garcia. Hopefully he can get it done Saturday night.
My dear friend Leonard Ellerby of Mayweather Promotions, the CEO. I said earlier, they heard me, you didn't, I'm going to repeat it. You and I go back a long time. You're a badass, one of my favorite all-time people in boxing, bar none. And I said right on the air 5 minutes ago that you passed Floyd a long time ago at being cool. Like, Floyd don't come around no more. You still come around, and you're like normal, real dude. Like my cat, my guy, my man. I don't know where Floyd is. I know he can show me a good time late at night, but when it comes to boxing circles, and I see you at Super Bowl, I see you, you're everywhere. You're omnipresent. And Floyd's kind of void for me. I don't see him anymore. That bothers me. So you passed him a long time ago.
Well, thank you, Scotty. Really appreciate that. You my guy, too.
It's good to see you.
Likewise.
So what do you think of this event? You know, I haven't been back since COVID. 36 years of covering boxing. This is my first card I've been to since COVID. I thought it really hurt boxing when they stopped having fans and media at the fights. I thought it sucked.
It did, and thank God that we passed that. And this Saturday night,
it's live. It's live.
It's the biggest event of the year.
It is.
Headlined by Javante Tank Davis taking on Frank Martin.
He's the new Floyd. Unlike my partner in my business who has a yacht and won't invite me on his boat. He's like, what are you doing on the 15th? I go, I'm working. He goes, oh, we're going out on the boat. I'm sorry you couldn't join us. Same thing with this guy. I'm in Vegas one day at the airport, and he goes, all right, Pharrell, get in the limo with me. And I'm like, oh, man, I can go on a ride in your limo? I'm like, what is happening here? I thought you didn't like me because I was white.
Well, first of all, let's just say this. You haven't changed. You always have me on your show. I don't know why, because you talk for freaking ever.
I know.
I don't even know why I'm here, because you're going to just keep talking.
Listen, didn't the other host want to choke me to death? Yeah. Remember he said one day I said something about his mother? Yeah. And he goes, I'm going to kill him. And he said, I said, I'm in the other studio. You can't even get in here. The door's locked. I said, your mother's a hoe.
So what he's saying is, we did do a show in New York. It was a debate show, and let's just say, again,
it was popular.
It was popular. They were doing it for sport. One of the guys took it a little too seriously, so we kind of went to break. And when we went to break, the guy said, I want to fight you, Pharrell. And Pharrell said, well, come on in here. If you're so big and bad, egging him on. And the guy was ready to actually go into the other studio and fight Pharrell.
You know what's worse is that he was like a big, tough guy, dude. And then he had a baby. And then he became like all the rest of us, a wussy. Once he had a kid, he was like, what are you doing? I go, what's that? He goes, it's my diaper bag. Right? I cannot believe the size of your sons, honestly. Yeah. If I could swing walk in here. Come here. I'm going to ruin the show today. We're going to bring him in here.
Now we'll do it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this week's content here on SportsGrid. Come back and check us out next time.